And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 27.5.
Hell yeah, we have been at this for 27 episodes, and we have a very good reason for there to be a bonus episode this week, hence the 27.5.
Yes, and to those of you who have recently just crawled out from under a rock, the Cincinnati Bengals
Hooday!
Are going to the Super Bowl.
That is still the strangest statement for me to say. I love that I can say it, but it still just sounds bizarre going, the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl.
I know.
So Caroline and Joe actually did a bonus episode of Craft Parenting Podcast. Hold on. So nice, so crispy. Huge shout out to the Newbert Report for allowing us to use the crispy crack description. So we are actually, in addition to this being a bonus episode, this is twofold. One, we wanted to talk a little bit about the sportsballs and the Cincinnati Bengals making it to the motherfucking Super Bowl.
Yes.
Marco and I and my Josh were able to watch and celebrate us winning the AFC Championship game against Kansas City here at BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery, which was awesome.
Great time.
So we decided that in addition to, whoops, my phone was on the table. Apologize for the noise. In addition to talking a little bit about the sports balls, because Caroline and Joe from Craft Parenting Podcast put out a bonus episode about the Bengals going to the Super Bowl, we wanted to do something prior to knowing that the Bengals were going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to keep saying that because it is the most ridiculous and amazing thing to say for a Cincinnatian in my lifetime. We are also going to be taste testing a couple of non-alcoholic beers from Untitled Art and Athletic Brewing, because it's been said on a couple of the podcasts that we listen to and recap, non-alcoholic beers, I know Chris from Shift Beers thinks that they do not have a place in craft beer. I know that the Gnarly Gnome and other people think that they do. My personal thought is, I feel like if they are done well, and in the past, non-alcoholic beers have not tasted good to where, even though you may want a non-alcoholic beverage, there's nothing that tastes enough like beer to make you want to buy and drink them. Or my specific, I guess I'll say, thought on it is something like this podcast is the perfect reason to have it, to where near the end of when we record Truth, Beer, and Consequences, I want to have another beer before I drive home, but I have a 35 to 40 minute drive home from BC's Bottle Lodge. I cannot have another beer and still feel okay to drive home.
Right.
If there's a non-alcoholic beverage that lets me still feel like I'm drinking without drinking, I want it. So this 0.5, this bonus episode, is us, again, just seeing, hey, what's going on with what's available out there as we celebrate the Bengals.
Yeah.
It's a twofold.
So we're going to taste some beer, or as the Newbert Report says, they test beer.
Yes.
We're going to test some beer here on Truth, Beer, Consequences 27.5. By the way, we are the number one podcast that talks about Cincinnati craft beer podcasts in Cincinnati, in Ireland, in
England,
in Australia, in Canada, in the Canada. Pretty much anywhere where somebody downloads a Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcast, we are the number one podcast that talks about that podcast.
Yes.
So with that being said, we did, as you heard, crack a beer. And what I've got here is Untitled Art's non-alcoholic Italian-style Pilsner.
Which is really cool because a lot of times when you see non-alcoholic beers, it is an IPA or maybe a stout or a wheat beer.
Yeah.
Pilsner is not a typical non-alcoholic style that you see. BC's Bottle Lodge Montgomery had a mixed 4-pack of Untitled Art non-alcoholic beer, and the fact that a Pilsner made it made us very curious and went, we need to try this. We need to see what's going on. BC's Bottle Lodge Montgomery, they have mixed 4-packs of the Untitled Art non-alcoholic beverages. I also got a non-alcoholic 4-pack of Athletic Brewing beers from Higher Gravity.
Gotcha.
Shout
Okay.
out to Kat for curating a 4-pack of what they had available of the Athletic Brewing. Athletic Brewing is pretty big on like Facebook promotions, however you want to say
Yeah.
it. I see Athletic all over the place in ads. I don't see Untitled art all over the place. But we wanted to see,
Yeah.
does one of them offer something non-alcoholic that people would actually want to drink?
And I believe Athletic Brewing, part of the reason why they show up in ads is because they'll ship to your house.
This is true.
So, Julia,
Ooh,
you took
okay.
a sip there.
I did.
And while you're going to discuss it, I'll go ahead and take a sip.
So upon first sip, I like it. I need to do more than one just to make sure that it's not just residual taste from the stout that I was drinking prior to this episode and the Crown Washington apple. I've had water in between, but initial taste is not bad. I feel like unless there is alcohol involved, it's always going to miss the mark in some aspect. I want to drink a little more to get a better idea of the flavor profile, but at the very least, right off the bat, not bad. I think I could drink this, but Marco, since you have had a couple sips, I want to see what your thoughts are on this prior to me finishing my half
Sure.
of the can. And again, this is awesome because I've had beers. I want to make sure that as I get ready to be able to drive home, this is an excellent way to really
Yeah, you're going to
get a good
balance
idea
out.
of
Right.
right.
Instead of just sitting here and having a couple of liters of water. You're
Well,
gonna,
and I apologize.
And
I
you did
forget,
have some.
I forget if it was a podcast that you said you listened to or the gnome said he listened to. Non-alcoholic beers should be a perfect third beer
yeah.
to where you have a couple beers and then you have a non-alcoholic beer to kind of
Yeah, just
temper yourself, just to make
Right.
sure that you're still pacing yourself the way that you need to.
I don't hate it. There's a good hop presence on the aroma. You taste a very bold hop presence when you taste the beer. Body of the non-alcoholic beer seems to be fine. I don't believe if I was presented this off of draft and said, "Here, try this Italian Pilsner," I'm not sure if I buy it, but it's really damn close.
I would say the same thing. There's a strange bitterness to the end, a strange bitterness in the aftertaste of it that I feel like I've gotten before with other non-alcoholic beers.
This is the best non-alcoholic beer I've ever had.
But I mean, as far as if you're out drinking and someone just hands us you, oh, hey, try this. I don't think that there is anything about the taste of this that would make me immediately go, this is non-alcoholic. This is one of those, weird one-off beers. I would drink more of this. It's not 100%. Yeah, it's not 100%, but
I think it's a damn
it's
fine
good.
job, actually.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So,
Have
Julia,
you-
for the sports balls, what city is the game being played?
Is the game being played in?
Played, yeah. played.
So the Super Bowl, or the Superb Owl, for those of you who may not be sports ball fans but like birds, which is typically what I do. Los Angeles. They are going to be playing at the SoFi
Stadium,
which is kind of the Rams' home field.
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
there's a great little nugget about the Rams
Ooh,
and the
tell me.
home field.
Tell me.
Oh, you haven't seen this?
I might
on the
have,
social
but
medias?
I want you to let our listeners know. So
This is amazing. So I saw this on maybe Facebook or Twitter, so it has to be true.
Oh, yeah.
The home team for the Super Bowl switches from NFC to AFC every
Right.
other year.
Right.
Makes sense. That's because the locker rooms are different, and then also it plays a part in calls the coin toss. Although,
So like locker rooms are different. Like the
Yes.
AFC only has urinals and the NFC only has stalls.
maybe, but
Okay.
they're different in the sense of the home team's home locker rooms are far more plush, more lavish,
Okay, that
more
makes-
posh than
makes
the away
sense.
team's locker rooms, which are basically just like wooden benches and like buckets, right?
That makes
So-
sense.
Even though the Rams, who are play out of SoFi Stadium, that is their home field, they will be in the away locker rooms because it's the AFC's turn to be home team.
Hell yeah. Now, I will say, part of me was a little bit disappointed, is not the word, but I love Andrew Whitworth, former Bengal.
Oh, yeah.
The Bengals screwed him over with the contract when he wanted to continue with the Bengals, but they wouldn't pay him what he was worth.
Absolutely worth it. He was
So
getting
he-
it up in age.
He was, but he was still one of the best left tackles that
Sure.
they had.
Yep.
So
Not just they had, but in the league.
correct. So he ended up going to the Rams. So part of me feels like there could almost be no loser this Super Bowl because I have supported the Rams from an NFC standpoint just because of Whitworth.
Okay. Well,
But with the Bengals being one of the teams, it is 100% the Bengals better win. I know they're going to win. I know we have every single
well, your coin toss
weapon.
don't matter.
The coin toss doesn't matter. As we learned in Kansas City, the coin
Right.
toss does not matter. I'm going to be rooting 100% for the Bengals and for the sports ball team from Cincinnati to take this entire season all the way. But at the same time, because I really love Whitworth as a human being, I won't be upset. And maybe this is bad for me to say as a Cincinnati sports ball fan, but I don't think that I will be as upset as if, say, a Brady team would win. If that makes sense,
F
a
that
Brady
guy.
team. So yeah, so it was official today. It is February the 1st.
'Cause
Brady
such
is
a baby.
retiring. Holy crap, no more Brady ever. We do not need to see him on the field ever again.
He got all bent out of shape because a couple of
Dude.
reporters reported, back Saturday, oh, he's retiring, and then he had to play this silly little game where he's like,
No, I'm not."
No, I'm not. No, I'm not retiring.
Right,
and
right.
my agent's going to say that only I know what I'm going to do, and I'm not retired
So-
just yet. And then he had to wait till he was on his own podcast
So-
to formally announce that he was retired.
So for all of you out there,
Bruh.
I do not. Hold on. Nice. There is no denying that Brady is a fucking amazing quarterback.
Yeah, okay.
I am not
Sure.
saying that he is a bad player,
No.
but he is a boring player. He does not run the ball like you see Mahomes, you see Burrow, you see these other quarterbacks when no one is available downfield. There is pressure for them to be sacked. They run the fucking ball. Brady does not move. He takes 2 or 3 steps, front, back, to the left, to the right, and then he throws the ball. He does not. He's not an exciting player to watch. He is damn good at what he does, but he does not. He's not entertaining to watch. So I am glad that we are finally Brady free going into the 2022 season.
Okay, so keys to the game, Julia. So, as
Yeah.
we talked about in the previous point 5, where we talked about the sports balls, we talked about keys to the game being the weather, the mascots,
uniforms.
how they shape up against each other, the uniforms. And
I
then-
will say that there has not been any information leaked yet about the uniforms that the Bengals will be wearing in the Super Bowl. They've won their all-white uniforms with the black socks the last 2 games, and that has done incredibly well for them. But I have a feeling for the Super Bowl, they're probably going to mix it up. I would not be surprised to see a full orange kit, a full orange uniform. Probably the orange jersey, black pants, orange helmet. And I don't know. Do you think orange socks or black socks? Because
They
that
should wear
was
one
my
of each.
pick. That would be awesome. I know
So-
that I had mentioned orange socks when we did a bonus episode 2 weeks ago about their uniforms, and I said they've done really well with the orange socks. when they didn't have orange socks during Kansas City, I was a little nervous, but obviously it is not the socks.
Right. So what time do they take the pitch, Julia?
Super Bowl time.
6:30. 6:30. They take the pitch at 6:30.
Yes. I will say, not sports ball related. Are you excited at all about the halftime show?
No.
Really?
I mean,
I think
I hope it's great.
I think it's going to be. You have Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Missy Elliott, Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
I think that you have, as long as they allow each of them to flex their creative muscles properly, that could be a damn good show.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So what I cracked when you heard that last can crack, we have Athletic Brewing's Sunset Stoke. This is a IPA.
Okay.
And
now, when you opened this, you took a smell, like you did the, let's get the aroma of the beer, and your facial expression was not super encouraging. So does the can say anything about what we're going to be trying next?
This says Sunset Stoke is our epically refreshing red IPA. It has a subtle malt undertow and a huge waves of hop flavor from pine to citrus to stone fruit. We brewed it in honor of the sun and the sea, in our favorite time to best enjoy both. Here's to catching the Stoke from coast to coast.
Now, I know that Athletic Brewing is pretty popular, again, just because of all of the Facebook, whatever promotions, but the smell of this.
It's off-putting.
It is very off-putting. Not burnt popcorn. I'm trying. There's a certain smell that this has that I'm trying to place, and it's what is that?
To me, it almost tastes like, or not taste. I haven't tasted it yet.
Yeah,
it smells like burnt lemon.
Okay. Yeah.
Almost like if you had real lemons and then you burnt them, and then you tried to create lemonade out of that burnt lemon.
It's like, I don't want to say burnt French fries. It's not a burnt popcorn is the first thing that popped into my head, even though it's not a popcorn smell. But there is definitely a smell of something that's been cooked or toasted longer than it should have. I don't know if the taste will reflect that, because sometimes you'll get a beer that smells one way, but the taste is completely different. So while Marco is taking his first sips, I'll let him process in his brain what Sunset Stoke.
They nailed it. They nailed it, Jill. No, they nailed it.
Okay.
If they were going for a beer that has this, big aroma of like burnt lemons and then tastes like burnt lemon Band-Aids. Right on.
Oh my God.
It's not good. It's not, I don't like it.
I had just gotten some of this beer in my mouth when Marco said burnt Band-Aids, and it almost came out of my nose. I was fighting to make sure I didn't spit it out onto the mic and onto the soundboard. Holy crap. Okay, I couldn't get a proper...
Do you have more of this at home?
No, I only have the 2 4-packs.
Okay, good.
The
good
mix,
for you.
The mix, yeah. So this is the
go
only
ahead.
can
I'm sorry
of this.
I cut you off.
Well, I didn't get an accurate taste because I almost spit it out because of your descriptions.
Okay.
So
I'll talk for a little bit so you can taste.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Morgan Freeman, and we have Athletic Brewing Company's Sunset Stoke. I hope you're ready to enjoy stoked burnt lemon with a taste of used Band-Aid off of someone's foot when it separated from their foot when they dove into the hot tub.
It's like a blister. It's
yeah, that's it. Tastes like blister.
This one is not good.
Right.
Like the smell of it's not good.
You should be able to return the empty can if you were not happy with this product.
I mean, to be fair,
Don't.
I think like if I took this back to like the empty can back to higher gravity and said this was the worst tasting thing, they would probably say, what can we do to make it right? Like, can we get you another can of something else from Athletic Brewing or something else at the price point? Because
So
they're
far,
good,
hell
they're
to
good
the
people
nah.
there. But right now, like, we still have, what, a third of a can of this? Because Marco's not pouring a complete half can
No.
for each of these beers, because if it's god-awful, we don't want to feel, like we have to drink an entire 6
I feel bad for the
ounces.
sink that we're going to have to dump it down.
But this is like even for like a red IPA, which typically is a little more of a malty type IPA. This was, when was this can? Let me see if I can.
Brian said we're not dumping it down in the sink. I'm going to accidentally bump it off the table.
I will pour it into the toilet. How about that, and flush it? This was packaged in October 6th.
I'm not letting that.
Athletic, if you want to try a sip. We've put it in cups if you want to take a sip. Producer Brian doesn't even want to smell it.
Who wants that?
This was
Who wants that?
not. This was not good. We are reviewing for the.
It's a
people who
testing.
couldn't
It's a
able to try
tasting
it.
thing.
But this is not good. I'm sure there is someone out there that. I'm sure they did some type of quality control testing to where someone somewhere said, this is good, can it? Because they're making this in bulk. But Athletic Brewing Sunset Stroke is not something that Marco or I want to have any part of.
Wait, Charles
So-
Charles Barkley's back. Hey, Charles,
So-
what did you think about that? It was terrible.
It was terrible. So, okay, so we have two more left. Another
All right.
Untitled Art.
We need to get through
Well,
these
hold
pretty
on.
quickly.
Another Untitled Art and another Athletic. Do you want to do the other Athletic?
To
in
kick him off the
case-
island?
Right. Just in case we
Okay.
need to say that Athletic Brewing doesn't work for us. It might work for someone. They're obviously doing well enough to where...
There are a lot of people out there that unfortunately, an effect of having
Sure.
COVID is that they don't have the sense of smell or taste
I
anymore.
kind of wish I didn't have my
I'm-
sense of taste
and
or
I'm
smell
sure
with this
that they
one.
would, appreciate it for it's, are far better equipped to taste that than I am because
Agreed.
I can actually taste it.
Agreed. So while you crack open the next can, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the sports ball.
Yeah,
about the
do it.
Cincinnati because so nice, so crispy. Thank you to the Newbert Report for allowing us to use the crispy crack phrase. So Caroline and Joe from
Caroline.
the Craft Parenting Podcast, they did a bonus episode this week because the Bengals are going to the MFN Super Bowl, which is still the weirdest statement for me to say. I can't get over it. All day I have been, all this week, I have been watching recaps of Shooter McPherson's field goal that won us the game, of the Bengals' reactions, of fans' reactions watching the games at different bars and at home. And I get chills every single time. So they put out a bonus episode about how excited they were, and they had mentioned that this is the first time that either of them have been alive since the last time the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, which was 1988, which surprised me because, as you know from many, many episodes ago, Joe is ancient.
Yeah, he's ancient.
So I am
He's
surprised
just trying
that
to-
I was around the last time the Bengals went to the Super Bowl.
I was practically an adult.
Right. I wasn't, but I was alive. My mom actually, I think it was for 87 or 88, where the Chicago Bears were involved. She had a picture of me in a shirt that she made for some of her friends that were from Chicago. That was, Bengals versus Browns in the year. And, she had me standing in this adult-sized shirt, wearing this. And obviously we didn't win the Super Bowl. But this is the first time in over 30 years, Caroline shotgunned a West Side Vienna lager, I believe it was. And when she did so, they posted the video. And she called me out saying, Julia, your turn to chug. And I went, oh my God.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. I suck at chugging. But I did it. I tried. I posted the video to the Cincinnati Craft Beer Club Facebook page. I did a Thunder Snow from Mad Tree. I tried. I should have waited longer because it was still ice cold from the fridge It hurt to try to chug. I made it about 2/3 of the way through before I just said, can't do it, too cold. I'm going to vomit if I keep doing this. But yeah, so that was a really fun bonus episode for them. And they called me out, so I, of course, called you out. So whenever you feel like doing a chug and you want to video it, you're more than welcome. If you don't want to, don't do it.
Okay.
It's all up to you. All right, so what do we have in our glasses
Julia, I'll tell you what we have in our glasses
Drinking
right now.
water to cleanse my palate.
Because it tastes better.
Yes.
And from, excuse me, Athletic Brewing Company. This is a Free Wave, which is the Hazy IPA. And I'm not going to read all this bullshit on the can.
Yeah. So Hazy IPA from
Hazy
Athletic
IPA.
Brewing. This one, I do see it is 70 calories, where the god-awful Sunset Stroke was clocking in at 85 calories. This one, they're both under 0.5% alcohol by volume, so they're not considered zero alcohol. They're just considered non-alcoholic. There's a whole legality thing with when it can be considered zero alcohol versus just non-alcoholic, which is a little weird. But what are you thinking based upon first sniffs of this beer? Because I don't think you have tried this yet.
I haven't tried it yet. I just sniffed it. I just find it really weird how they were able to get two different beers to smell exactly the same.
Yes, I was just thinking that. I'm like, this smells just like the red IPA, which
like some armpit juice.
So for in the craft beer world, and I'm taking liberties with this statement, a hazy IPA and a red IPA typically do not smell the same at all. The colors are different from the Athletic Brewing red IPA versus the hazy IPA. The colors look through our plastic cups. The colors of the beer look fairly correct for the style that they're trying to do. The smell is
off-putting.
Yeah,
it's real off-putting.
The smell of the hazy isn't as strong as the smell of the red, but Marky, you let us know your thoughts while I take a drink of this.
So the flavor profile is a much softer than the red IPA, which it should be, but this still doesn't taste good.
It has that same, again, like burnt popcorn is the first thought that pops into my head, even though that is not the exact flavor that I'm getting. It's burnt something. But it's not good. Like, I would not.
It's not good.
Because I've been thinking, maybe I can move to non-alcoholic, a couple days a week, whatever.
Sure.
Honestly, I drink on Tuesdays when we record.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a beer during the sports ball games on the weekend. But normally during the week, other than Mondays for Weekly Pint, I really don't drink much.
No, I'm pretty much the same.
And
it's like Mondays for Weekly Pint, Tuesdays when we record, the
and
weekend
maybe
for
during
the
weekend
ball.
for the sports ball, yeah.
And then when I'm at the brewery on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then I like to relax with something on a Friday.
So when you're at the brewery, are you, like, I'll say capital D drinking, or are you more drinking because part of the job is to know the product that you're making? Like, it's not.
Well, there is that. I mean, there's 8 a.m. going in and taking a test sample from a tank, but I'm not taking a 16-ounce beer and pounding a 16-ounce beer. I'm taking
and that's why
an ounce or two, getting in a taster glass and getting a taste and saying, okay, this is coming along, this is ready, this isn't ready.
You're sampling more than drinking.
For the purpose of trying to understand where my beer is in its life progression, right?
Okay, yeah.
Now, I mean, there's a shift beer at the end, and every now and then some of us will bring in something for us to share, like one can of something, and maybe there's 2 of us there, 3 or whatever, and then we split a can of something to know what something tastes like. But it's
so far
less beer drinking than people think brewers do. They think we're like like Friar Tuck in old in old Robin Hood movies where you're just perpetually drunk while you're working, and that's you can't be doing that.
Yeah. So far, Athletic Brewing, and this is their red IPA. Is that what it's actually called? So Sunset Stroke, non-alcoholic IPA, and then Free Wave Hazy IPA.
terrible.
They're awful.
They're not
They're
great.
awful. I would, if someone said, "Oh, okay, you want to keep drinking, but be okay to drive home," such as why we're doing this show at the end of our recording session, I would take 2 sips and then be like, "This isn't scratching that itch for me."
You know what you could do? You could take your money and light it on fire.
That would probably
And
be a better
you
use of my dollars.
Might be a better use.
So we
of
have
your dollar.
We have one more non-alcoholic beer to try, and this
Thank
is
God.
another Untitled Art. We decided to save that for last. Nice. Even the can openings sound better. So this is Untitled Art's West Coast IPA. Their Italian-style Pilsner was, again, it is not the same as a beer, but it tastes good. It is definitely something that I would not mind drinking. So we'll see if the West Coast IPA is any better to style than the Athletic Brewing. Again, full props to these companies for making something non-alcoholic, for trying to find that perfect beverage for someone that is trying to either cut back on drinking or they just don't drink, period, but they still want to feel like they are part of the group. I have no problem with non-alcoholic beverages.
No.
At all. I would
No.
rather, but so far, aside from the Untitled Art Pilsner, I would rather just drink a water and be subject to the "why aren't you drinking" questions.
Yeah,
from what we've tried tonight.
Yeah, but I could imagine there's a segment of the population that really is happy about these products, saying, we've finally got something that smells like a beer and tastes sort of like I remember a beer, or, I imagine a beer tasting. And so for them, I'm happy that they've found a product that fits their need. I just am not getting into what we've had. The Italian Pilsner is by far the best.
Yeah.
So
it's still not an exact match, but it is something that if I wanted to continue to feel like I was drinking the non-alcoholic Italian style pills, so far it has been the only non-alcoholic beverage to where I went, I could drink this and still feel like I was part of whatever drinking outing was happening, if that makes sense.
Sure. And then for the sportsballs, the Super Bowl,
that's Superb Owl.
Oh, okay.
There was a snowy owl that was seen in downtown Cincinnati. So if you're not into sports ball, it is the Superb Owl.
My next house, when I build a house, I'm going to have a Super Bowl. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be just a fantastic toilet.
I'll tell you what, as I get older, the more I think about if I could redo any room in my house, it'll be the bathroom. It'll be a big-ass bathtub that covers my knees and my boobs at the same time when I'm in it. There will be a separate area for the toilet so that everything is as on its own as it can be, and it will have heated floors.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Maybe not
That'd
a
be nice.
rotating shower floor,
Right.
but heated floors, hands down.
So I mean, clearly we're expecting the Bengals to win. I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
and
Hell
the
yeah.
other team is a good team, very good team.
They are a
the
very
best
good
team in
team.
the NFC as the the gauntlet of these games go. So you've got the best two teams facing off in the Super Bowl, and I actually when the season started, if you'd have told me this was going to happen, I would have said I truly hope so, but
Nah.
not sure about that. That is a long shot right there. But with the way the team has proven itself to succeed against
Amazing teams.
yeah, really good teams.
Yeah, twice with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Why? I mean, it's within. It's
believable.
It's believable. That's what I'm trying to say. So, I am going to root for their win and their success. A successful season nonetheless, and we'll be looking to see what uniform, what kit they decide to go with, because we told you the keys to the game are the mascots, and you've got a Ram versus a Bengal. That's not a contest.
I mean, that's not a competition at all.
It's not a contest.
No.
You've got the
weather.
The weather.
LA. I mean, yes, the Rams are used to playing in
pristine
California weather,
conditions,
but we also do incredibly well in pristine weather conditions.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
And then you have the uniforms, which again, neither team has released what they're planning on wearing, but as has been determined by the last 2 games, we know for the Bengals, it is not the socks that count. So
Right.
the fact that if they wear orange socks or black socks with their uniform, that will not play a factor in any way,
Not a
shape,
problem.
or form. No.
not a problem. So this last
Yeah.
Untitled Art beer, this is the West Coast IPA, as we said
Yep.
a few minutes ago. Doesn't smell fantastic. It doesn't taste fantastic.
It leans kind of towards, at least for me, the same, not as strong and not as offensive, but the same similar smell and taste profile as the Athletic Brewing IPAs.
Yeah, these are struggling.
Yeah.
It's a real struggle.
So right now, though, if you gave me a can of the Untitled Art non-alcoholic Italian-style pills, I would drink that and be okay with it.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
That one was, I will say that one was good.
Yeah.
Hands down, that was good.
Certainly the best one we had today, and I would put it, recalling all of the non-alcoholic beers I've ever had,
Right.
I would put it right up there with probably the best.
Yeah. I mean, we need to see if there are any other because I feel like a lot of the non-alcoholic beers that are out there are IPA styles. The Pilsner has been one of the first that I've seen that's not an IPA. I know that Athletic has a non-alcoholic. It's either a stout or a porter. I don't remember. It wasn't available in a single can at Higher Gravity. But so far, I'm wondering if it's just something about that IPA brewing process that just makes them hit the mark. I don't know either. But I would be interested to try other non-IPA styles, as well as other IPA styles, to see if does every non-alcoholic IPA have the same strange burnt Band-Aid smell, taste.
Almost like
To
mud.
it.
Almost like burnt mud.
Yeah, it's odd.
Weird. And it could be from the process of trying to extract the alcohol with, putting that finished, fully alcoholic product up to a certain temperature to basically burn off that alcohol, and then you would probably then stretch it with filtered water to get to the desired consistency and bring it back to the volume that the hops were supposed to have at that point. But I don't know. I don't brew non-alcoholic beer. I'm not planning on it anytime soon.
But mad props to the places that do understand that is something that is being asked for. They are, I'm sure, doing the best that they can to make a good product that people want to drink.
Look, it's got to be tough, right? Or everybody would be able to make a great one.
Right.
And
I'm so curious to see. Do you know what style Mad Tree's non-alcoholic beer is supposed to be after?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I think it's a pale ale, but I don't remember.
I'd be very curious, and hopefully both of us make it up there at some point to give that one a try. Because if there is a local non-alcoholic beer that hits the mark or hits the mark close enough, I will support that 150%. But so far, Untitled Art's non-alcoholic Italian-style Pilsner is the only non-alcoholic beer that I would drink. Otherwise, it's just give me water.
Right. Yeah.
Just give me water.
Give me something else.
Yeah.
Well, Julia, does that wrap it up for our pre-Super Bowl show?
Hell yeah,
and sort of
and non-alcoholic tasting.
Yeah, non-alcoholic tasting.
It does. This was definitely a fun little experiment for us to do. Something that helps me to ensure that I get home safe after an amazing fun time of drinking actual beers and recording our main episode. And these are unprecedented times that the Bengals are in the fucking Super Bowl.
Yes.
It is ridiculous, and regardless of what happens on Super Bowl Sunday, I am so proud of our boys.
Yeah, young team too. So
young team,
future looks bright.
They have the future. They have everything in front of them. So I am hoping for a win. But my God, I could not be more proud of them for what they've accomplished so far.
For sure.
So I will start the music, and I will see you next week, Marco.
Sounds good, Julia.
See you guys.